Alright, how's everybody doing? It is time for the August 2017 update tour, little walkthrough for the Back to Eden Food Forest. Got some new stuff to show you and just keep you updated on what's going on here. So here's kind of the overall view. Lots of green, looking good. Before I was trying to make like a border of the cranberry hibiscus here along the edge of the road. So some of it's coming in pretty good. Other spots, the little transplants didn't do so good and died off. So I got a couple empty spots. But overall, it turned out pretty good. I should have came back in and plugged some more in here. Pumpkins, we showed you a video of us harvesting a bunch of them, and so these vines are just kind of not looking so good. Probably need to take some of them out. Still have a couple little pumpkins though to let mature so we can harvest. This cranberry hibiscus is our tallest. It's sitting at about 5 feet tall right now. The pumpkin vines, I said by the next video they should be getting into the chicken area by now, and they made it there, but the chickens kept pecking the ends of the vine off before they could make it through the fence. So anyway, got a sage plant in there. Apple trees doing good. The orange mint down there, it's getting bushier. Cow peas, we got some in all sorts of stages here. This pod is just about dry and ready to be picked for the dried beans. You can see we have some flowers on there, and we have a bunch of stuff here that we can harvest and use for dinner. We did that the other night. We sauteed up some of those with some other vegetables, and they were really good. Looking over here at the arch trellis, the grapes are just going crazy here. They're already touching up at the top. They're starting to spill over off the edges here, so gonna need to prune them back a little bit and make it a little more manageable. Right down here we got a loofah gourd getting started. That's pretty exciting. There's another loofah gourd right over there on the other side of the trellis as well. So moving along this trellis, we got this monstrosity here. So one thing I just wanted to kind of touch on is that, this system is, the best system I know of, and like I've seen other people on YouTube, and you watch the Back to Eden film, and a lot of people say they don't have problems with pests, and their stuff does amazing. But I just want to tell you, the first year you're gonna have pests. You just get this thing started. It's not a magic process where everything is roses. So you can see a lot of damage here on this vine, and I can see the old stink bug right there. I hate those things. Anyway, I think this was our jelly melon vine. I did observe that up on the trellis, all these leaves are eaten away, not looking so good, but it is sprawling out down here on the ground, and these leaves are pretty much well intact. I think the main culprit is some moth. If you can see that, that's like the moth's caterpillar larva or whatever. they fold the leaves up and make their cocoons. So I just kind of do some manual squishing of these guys so they don't multiply on me and cause even more of a problem. But anyway, don't know if we're going to be able to get any jelly melons out of this thing, but we'll see what the vines down here on the ground will produce. Alright, banana trees looking amazing. Very cool. Should start to see some pups coming up soon around that guy. Moringa tree, this is the one about 2 feet high. I cut it back, and now we have 3 stalks coming up and regrowing. It's pretty neat. Another apple tree looking good. This is a basil. Another pumpkin. Duck under this banana here. We got more cowpeas. Oh, sweet, look at that. Just as I mentioned it, right there, banana pup coming up. That's exciting. And this is, I don't know if I showed this in the last video, but this is a katuk. Likes the shades. We put it here underneath the bananas. It's an edible green, you just eat the leaves on it. The taste is kind of a mixture between like a peanut flavor and the flavor of a pea. So it's a good green, like you can just eat it straight up and don't have to do too much to it. Some Everglades tomatoes. These ones are just kind of sprawling out, growing wild. There's another one here. Cranberry hibiscus. This was one of those random seeds I tossed out. It's growing really nice. Some more basil. Some cilantro. More pumpkin vines. I made an error in the last video. I said this was a eggplant, but it is not. It is actually a ground cherry. I got a ground cherry, a couple of them from a friend, and I had saved a couple seeds out of it and just kind of put them in the ground, and a few of them took, so it's pretty neat. As you, like this part here, there's a lot of weeds going on, a lot of grass. I'm not planning on keeping this section of the garden, maintained. It has a potential use for something else in the future, so I'm not putting too much effort and time into it, since it's probably going to be traded over from a garden space into something else in the future. Another Everglades tomato. This was the original cranberry hibiscus patch. It's not receiving as much sunlight as the other ones along the road, so they're not growing as tall. Pumpkin vines still growing strong. This guy up on the trellis looks like he's about ready to be harvested. There's caterpillars there, found it. Alright, this is the exciting thing I wanted to share with you on this tour. The Perennial Cucumber. The original base of it is down here. It's got two vines growing up and up, and it's sprawling out to this side. I came out today and found this lovely surprise. It's got a flower on it. Very cool. Cocina grandis. Thank you, David the Good. Can't wait to try these. Sorry, got kind of fast there. More Everglades tomatoes. Got some ripe ones here. These guys are really small, but have great flavor, and they just keep producing. It's hard to keep up with them. All right, look at a couple of trees here. This loquat, it's not doing great. Still hanging in there, still growing though, getting some size. This oregano here underneath it is not going as according to plan either. It's kind of just barely hanging on. I don't know if it's gotten too much like foot traffic stomping it down, or it's just not too happy here, but anyway, we'll monitor that. This fig tree, it's looking great. It's some white Italian variety. I had to do some pruning on it because the leaves were just kind of so densely packed in it. It wasn't really getting much airflow through it. So I took a couple of bottom branches off and stuck those in a pot to try and propagate them. Mint growing around the fig trees, looking great. This is another pretty cool one. Buddy of mine, Brett, how's it going, Brett? He hooked me up with this purple tree collard. So this guy's just getting established. It didn't really have much root system on it, so, but I got, new growth coming down here, so I know it's still alive, and it's just a matter of time before it starts kicking here. Lavender. Sorry, back to trees. This is the Dwarf Everbearing Mulberry tree. Looking really healthy. Haven't got any mulberries off it yet this year, but I don't mind. This tree is looking great. Leaves are all healthy. Standing about 6 feet tall. Alright, stuffs in pots. Blackberry, another mulberry tree, a starfruit tree that looks kind of albino. Another apple tree. These apple trees are doing great. Pigeon pea. This pigeon pea is about 7 foot tall now. Planted it just like 3 or 4 months ago from a seed. Another apple tree. Behind that's a moringa tree. Up, up, up. That's got to be close to 10 feet tall now. Amazing. All right, so that's what I wanted to show you over here in the first section. I'll pause it and go over and show you a couple more trees over in the chicken area. All right, now we're over in the chicken area, checking out a couple of the trees. This is the Jamaican cherry, the strawberry tree. This thing has been just gangbusters. It looks awesome. It's growing really fast. And we have some flowers. Sweet. So the flower looks a lot like a strawberry flower. That's why they gave it the name, the strawberry tree. The fruit itself is more like a cherry that comes off of it. Another flower. Couple more right there. So this thing is, I can't wait to try this. I've just heard so many cool things about how this fruit tastes, and it looks like it's going to be an abundant producer. So that's the Jamaican cherry, or the strawberry tree. Over here we had a little fiasco with our goats a couple weeks ago, and we had to put some in here, and one of them knocked the protective cage over this mango tree and just totally demolished it. Ate everything, ate about 6 to 8 inches off of the trunk, but it's got some leaves on it coming back, so the tree's gonna be all right. Just knocks it back a little bit. Hey ducks. One more tree in here, the June plum. Same thing here, the goats got to this one and ate back a lot of the branches, but it's still doing fine, putting on plenty of new growth. Got a little cluster here of June plums, still on the hard side, so I don't know exactly when to harvest those, but I'm waiting for them to maybe like turn color or get a little soft. And it's still wanting to put on more. There's more of the flowers. Really cool tree. I'll update you on, when we get to taste those, let you know what they taste like. I haven't been able to find too much information on exactly how good these things are, so I'm not really holding my breath too much, but if it's a decent tasting one, it's a nice tree for high production. All right, outside of the chicken area, this is our sugar apple tree. Looking great. Planted this guy in April. It's standing at about 4 feet tall right now. Apricot tree, looking pretty good. This one was heavily pruned.
Hi people!
Hi Camden. It won't put out any branches this way for me. They're all shooting up here, so I gotta try and get this tree to form some balance. Moringa tree right there on the small side. This is the Suriname cherry. This is the starfruit Carambola. There's one hanging out at the bottom. Let's see, Carry variety. And that little lizard there hanging out. What's up? So starfruit tree is doing good. I pruned that one heavily because the leaves are real dense and everything, and I was kind of trying to open it up. It seems really happy. Barbados cherry. The one I successfully air layered. This one's looking pretty good. I pruned this one heavily too. I don't know, maybe try and bonsai this one. Really easy to prune these to whatever shape you want. Black Mission fig. Doing nice. Elderberry. And this is the Jackfruit. Really cool. I'm excited about this one. So anyway, that's the tour for August. Thanks for joining me and coming along to see how everything's updated and the progress. So take care. God bless.